really just hustling on pure stand-up and, working with ADD. ADD pulled up, like KevOnStage reached out and was like, yo, they pulled me in to do like a sketch here and there. And then I was doing 2-minute drills. So it was just like.
And what year was that with because I was going to ask you, when did you link up with KevOnStage? So was that different than ADD? Those are two different situations that happened, or is that one situation that happened, ADD and KevOnStage?
Actually, it was, first of all, I met KevOnStage at Nate Jackson's room up in Tacoma. He had booked, and that's another thing that was keeping me afloat. Like Nate Jackson booking me on occasion, and like, the occasional road gig, the occasional, college gig. It was just like, I'm just scrambling, doing festivals and comedy competitions. And so I meet KevOnStage out there. I see him perform. I was like, yo, this dude is funny, man. And then once he moved out to LA to work with ADD, he reached out to me and was like, yo, I want to do a Dr. Reasons episode based on your clown joke. And I was like, all right, let's do it.
And the Dr. Reasons is the Spoken Reasons.
Yes.
Yeah.
that was one of the first shows that, yes.
Hey.
Man. That was one of the first shows that All Def Digital had was Dr. Reasons. And so they pulled me into that. And I was like, yo, this was cool. And so they kept bringing me in after that. And Kev was the one that reached out because he really liked the clown joke. And so once I started, going up there, meeting everybody, working with them, they kept bringing me in to do various sketches. And then, so that, I want to say that was like, it might have been 2015.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I think it was 2015. Maybe 2014, 2015. I can't remember the exact year, but I feel like it was around then. And so, so all of these little things like help keep me afloat financially. So, and then, I had the time to, link up and shoot videos and make the videos too, because I was primarily working at night doing comedy shows. So
Gotcha.
my time was open. And
hey,
then,
I'm listening.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, with KevOnStage, how big was he already on social media when he reached out to you? Because I wasn't aware of KevOnStage until you all started touring. But that's just me. I live in my own world and I be off doing stuff.
Right.
So it wasn't until I saw you touring with him and outside looking in, I was like, wait a minute, Tony's not headlining? Because I just know how funny you are. So for me, it was odd to see you going before this guy, because I didn't know who he was at the time.
Right.
Where was he at? Was he already big on social media? And what made you say, okay, I'm going to go on tour with him, with Tahir?
Well, with Kev had a big YouTube following. Like, I think he had like, I'm not sure what his following is now on YouTube, but it was in the hundreds of thousands of subscribers, So he already built like a solid following on his YouTube. And that's what really primarily got him the gig at All Def, because he built a platform with his videos. He had videos with his kids. And so they were like, yo, Kev. And then that's why they brought him to All Def. So he already had that following and that base on his YouTube and his Facebook. So he was already popping on those. So he constructed the whole tour and so, and I knew him as a comedian first. That was my introduction to Kev, was hearing him on stage at Nate's room. I was like, this dude's funny. And then I found out, he does videos on social media too. Cool, that's dope. And so when we were working together at All Def, and it was just like, once he decided to put the tour together, he built it from scratch. He booked his own venues. He did all the work himself. It was just like, and I want you to be a part of it. I was just like, yeah, let's do it. Like, because I've never been on tour. It was just like, nobody has ever reached out for me on tour. And I didn't have the confidence or the You
want to know why nobody reached out to you? I'm sure you already know this, right? I'm sure you know. I'm gonna tell you. They're threatened of you. That could literally be, there's no way you could be as funny as you are and nobody reach out to you. So I'm telling you, if you never heard it, the reason why none of the bigger names reached out to you, because they have to be afraid that you're gonna out funny them, which you most likely would do 9 times out of 10. I'm sure of it. Because
That's crazy,
that's just
man.
surprising, which speaks highly of KevOnStage. So that shows how secure he is,
Yes.
and how good of a person he is to even reach out to you, knowing how funny you are.
Oh, that was, man. Kev is egoless, man. Like, you know, he is a true team player. He's egoless, no ego, and it was just like, yo, that was so refreshing to work with on my first tour. I was like, yo, Kev is great, man. He's a great friend, you know. So it was just like, man, this is dope, and it just showed you how secure he was with his fan base and with his actual, you know, stand up. And so I was like, man, that's dope. Because I never, you know, some people have said to me what you just said, like they just threatened to bring you on the road, and like, you know, and I would say this, I never really reached out as well. So it wasn't like I was actively like, yo, put me on, let me do some shows with you. I wasn't really reaching out like that. So that's my fault on that end. And so
Yeah, but you know
like
what?
Russell,
But my experience, they'll reach out to you. So like when
yeah,
Afion took me on the road, he reached out to me. You see what I'm saying? Like when Chris Tucker took London Brown on the road, Chris Tucker reached out to London. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
they
So
do reach out.
they reach out. Them motherfuckers saw what you was doing out there in these streets.
And I wanna give a shout out to the guys that did bring me on the road, for just like Russell Peters and you know, Esau McGraw would, like, you know, bring me out with him, and like you know, I remember Donnell Rawlings reached out, and so I want to give a shout out to those that did reach out, and like, you know, Tony Rock
Okay.
did, like, you know, reach out and be like, yo, man, come do this road gig with me. And Ruben Paul, especially, man. Ruben Paul, he's like my mentor in comedy, and he would take me on the road with him. So I want to give them all the shout outs in the
Okay.
world.
Well, that's good.
They took me, yeah.
So with ADD, I was interested on like the structure of ADD. Like, here's 2 things. One was Russell Simmons, when he first started ADD, he reached out to me too, because that's when I was still had a presence on YouTube like that, and I was doing sketches, and this was at the very infinite stages of ADD. The reason why I didn't go over to ADD at the time was because I knew they was gonna have ownership of my content. And I was like, well, I'm already doing decent on YouTube by myself whenever I feel like putting up, because I was putting up YouTubes whenever I felt like it. It wasn't like a real consistent thing. It was like, all right, I'm gonna make fun of like the BET hip hop cipher, and then I'll post that.
Right.
When it comes to y'all and y'all content, do y'all have any ownership of the material? Yeah, look at that. Do y'all have any ownership of the material, or is it like they pay y'all a cut for using ideas that y'all came up with?
For me, I can't speak on you know, the characters they created, but like for me, they brought my characters in, so it was like that Abernathy Nevers right there, or like even when they use like my joke premise, or like, you know, Travis or whatever. So I kept full ownership of my characters. I can't really vouch, you know, for anybody else's setup.
Everybody else at 80 like, man, fuck that nigga, man. They're taking all my shit. I don't own nothing around there.
Right. Yeah, I came to the table with those characters already established, and they were just like, yo, can we bring the character in? I'm like, yeah. And so for me, I never dealt with that really. Like, you know, and the only running show that I had on ADD initially was 2 Minute Drill. And that was a concept they came up with. And it was just me being myself, talking about sports. And so, but that was their show idea. And man, when I tell you that show kept me afloat financially too, it was right on time, man. I was like, and they were, and the numbers were pretty low for 2 Minute Drill. They were, compared to all the other content they were putting out, the 2 Minute Drill numbers were average. So they were trying to get rid of it. But Kev was like, nah, man, we need the 2 Minute Drill in here. And I was like, man, thank you for keeping me around as long as you could. Because that money came in handy, bro. Because it was a weekly thing.
Oh, but that's what. Well, I don't. I had Spoken Reasons on, and he was he was talking about ADD.
Yeah, well,
But
he got a totally different, dynamic with them. I was just like, that wasn't my. Granted, they paid him a lot more than they paid, me, because I'm sure he came in with, I'm sure they paid him a lot of money initially.
Well, I don't know. I don't think he paid what he felt like he was worth for what he was bringing to the table.
Right.
But I'm sure they
if you
did.
compare this check to mine.
Yeah, like they're paying you shit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.